The first thing that I wanted to mention, hello, everybody who's here, welcome. I'm a little scattered this morning, and you would know that if you follow me on Instagram. So if you got the newsletter this morning, and I may have mentioned it before, um, the if you got the newsletter, you know that like I have a business coach and he is encouraging me. Well, it's not encouraging me. It's like, you have to do this. I have to now post on Instagram twice, or I have to post on Instagram 3 times a day. So if you would like to know the real life, I mean, and I resisted for a really long time. I finally started doing it. Uyi, yes, I saw you. Joel, um, if you could put the Instagram link in the chat so everyone sees it. Um, the it's just Margie at Margie Remmers-Davis. I know some people out there have like these fancy names, but then I don't know who you are if you if I'm not, yeah. So I know you like on Instagram people have like these crazy. Anyway, so if you would like to see the behind the scenes, like the literal behind the scenes of what my daily life is like, then Instagram is where you'll see that, because I'm now going live 3 times a day of, all my challenges. Some things I started, the very first one I did was like something I do really well, but now mostly it's like things that I'm struggling with. So I know some people love to see other people struggle. I don't know, you guys are sick, but I'm just kidding. That's where I'm vulnerable. This call, I'm supposed to be all put together. See, I'm all like hair and makeup and fancy. So, but the Instagram is like the real raw stuff. All right, okay, Uyi, Joel and Uyi. All right, I just learned a new trick. No, I can't do it. Darn it. I thought I would be able to pin. I thought I would be able to pin the post so that you could see it. All right, well, we've got a bunch of people posting. So now you've got on Instagram, plus the newsletter that went out this morning. Um, if you did not get a copy of the newsletter, we are having an issue where more and more our newsletter is our emails are going to spam. A huge number are going to spam. Like Gmail does not like us, even though we're super friendly. So if you cannot find, if you did not get a copy of the newsletter or the agenda that for this call that went out this morning, check your spam or junk folder. If you're not getting it, then write to us at support@acadian.com, AKADIAN, and we'll see what's happening with your email. But it's probably in spam or junk or whatever. Somebody I saw asked me, are we going to go 2 hours today? Are we going to go? Joseph saying, are we going to be here more than 2 hours? I hope not. I do have a lot of stuff to cover. But I also have an appointment. If you guys listen to the unofficial QuickBooks Accountants podcast, I'm a guest host on that, and we are recording our next episode. I think that it's going to be posted March 20th. So, but today we're recording. My segment is called Look What We Found, and it's about all the little tiny changes Alicia Katz Pollock and I find over the month. And by the way, I just listened to one of the episodes yesterday with a guy named Spot. I can't remember his last name. But they were talking about Intuit. They had the Intuit shareholder meeting, and they were talking about how Intuit announced that they are now, thanks to AI, and we're going to talk about AI more today, that thanks to AI, they are pumping out they're pumping out changes 30% faster than they were previously. 30% faster. That's because of AI. So, like, we have to scramble to keep up. By we, I mean you and me. Like you and me, all of us who are users of QBO, all of us who are teachers of QBO, like we have to be on top of it even faster. But yeah, everybody, it's crazy. Oh, ooh, thank you, Matthew Fulton, who goes by Spot. Okay. So if you are new here, I need to do my little introduction. If this is your first time on the call, if this is your first time on the live stream, let me know in the chat because it will help me a lot to know. Usually we get a ton of people who, all right, Tara. We've got Tara's here, excellent. So yeah, it helps me know because sometimes I go really fast. Oh, Rob's a first timer. Good. Oh, Misty. Oh my goodness, so much. The name of the podcast is UQ. It's the Unofficial QuickBooks Accountants Podcast. And I think that the link is uqb.show, SHOW. I think that will take you to like all the information about it. So if you are watching this on YouTube, so we do this live inside of our free Facebook group, the QBO Gym Locker Room. But if you want to, join us live and actually interact with me and actually get all of this good juicy stuff, then you have to join the QBO Gym Locker Room, which is our free Facebook group where you get to do hands-on practice with QuickBooks Online. This is all we do all day, every day, is practice using QuickBooks Online. And as a member of the Locker Room, you get a free QBO QuickStart course that teaches you how to access your free QuickBooks Online accountant account, what makes an accountant account different than a regular account that business owners use, how to navigate special workflows and terminology, and of course, hands-on practice so that you actually get to practice doing the things in QBO. So if you are new, let me back up. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want access to this free course, come join the locker room. The link's below. If you're in the locker room and you're watching this, either the recording inside the locker room or you're here with us now, we've got a bunch of new folks. If you don't know where your free course is, please write to us at support@acadian.com. This is why when you join the group, we ask for your email address so we can get you your course, so we can send you an agenda for this meeting. All right, so if you can't find it, let us know. We often get caught in spam. It's happening more and more, like I said. But sometimes like you just type in the wrong email address, you're checking the wrong email, or, there's so many reasons. There's so many issues with emails. Also as a member of this group, you get access to over 100 free exercises. You can find those. People are always asking where to find them. Guess what? We emailed them to you, but you can also find them inside the group here in this pinned post says welcome to the locker room. And there's a link in there to get your 100, it's over 100, I don't know how many it is, over 100 free exercises. And then also there is a free exercise of the week, which you get by joining our live stream every Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. And the link, all the good stuff is in the group. And so the exercise of the week is actually part of our paid course called the QBO Gym. So the free group is called the QBO Gym Locker Room. The free group is the QBO Gym Locker Room, and the paid is actually called the QBO Gym. So the QBO Gym is a simulated experience of being a bookkeeper. So if you have ever complained that you can't get a job without experience and you can't get experience without a job, if you have ever wished that you could be an intern or that you could shadow somebody, like, oh, somebody just, or if you just wondered, like, what the heck is the gym all about? Or I'm sorry, what is bookkeeping all about? Then you can join the gym. We actually have a free 5-day challenge where you can get the first month of the gym. The QBO gym is an entire year of experience being a bookkeeper, but it doesn't take you a year to get through it. It takes about 42 real-time hours. So if you really put your mind to it, you could have a whole year's worth of experience in a week. Like if you treated it like your full-time job, you could, you could. I wouldn't recommend that, but you could very easily do a month a day, and yeah, so it gives you the experience to do that. Now, everything that is in the gym is tied to our internal proprietary dashboard called Booksmatch. And the reason we built this is so that we could show you off to the world. You're like learning all of these skills, you're upskilling, you're working it hard. The thing is, when people hire bookkeepers, there's no way for them to know if you're actually any good. Okay. So this is a battle that everybody who hires a bookkeeper goes through. Like, how do I know if I hire somebody that they're good? And so we can say, like, you could say that you have experience. You could say that you have 20 years of experience, but that doesn't mean that you actually are good at it. It just means you've done it for a long time. And so that's why we have the Booksmatch dashboard. And one of the metrics that we use for the dashboard is consistency. So we want to make sure that you are consistently upskilling, that you're consistently working on your skills. And so you have a high consistency when you have at least one skill that you've learned every 2 weeks. Okay. And so we have 2 years worth of material. So I mentioned you get through 1 year in about 42 real-time hours. Then there's year 2. The amount of time that year 2 takes you is so variable that I can't even give you a time. We make it more challenging. It's the same stuff, but you work through it in a more challenging way. Some people get it really quickly. Others, have to go more slowly and so year 2 is super variable. Somebody asked in the chat if there's going to be a year 3. No, there is not going to be a year 3. 2 years of experience, like you should be getting real life experience if you have 2 years of experience being a bookkeeper, there's no excuse for you not to be out and getting clients. Okay. So, and having your own stuff. But we do have the exercise of the week, which you're always learning new stuff and keeps your consistency high. Okay, so the exercise of the week is a separate course in your dashboard. So it comes with the QBO Gym. If you're subscribed to the QBO Gym, then you automatically will get the exercise of the week once you have had 250 points. If you've worked through 250 points in the gym, you can find out how many points you have. I always demo this on the exercise of the week, but really I need to be demoing it on the QBO Gym. If you click this little button down here, I failed to say that the QBO Gym is all gamified. So my initial concept for it was Duolingo for bookkeepers. So it's all gamified. There's, bells and whistles and celebrations and ka-chings and badges, that you earn and all this. So you're earning points, and that's the 250 points. So in order to unlock the exercise of the week, you have to have at least 250 points, and you can check your points here. These points are different than the skills because sometimes there's multiple skills that you earn in doing an exercise, but like an exercise is just worth 2 points or something like that for doing the full exercise. But the skills themselves, so the skills in Booksmatch and the points, they don't actually match up. We used to, by the way, I shouldn't be talking so much, but we used to, when we first released Booksmatch, we had it relying on the points that were in the gym, but it just wasn't consistent. And so it wasn't consistent and it wasn't specific. So we redesigned it, and so now they work on two parallel but different systems. All right. So yes, Leslie, thanks for answering that. Christina's asking, I finished February, but March and on are not clickable. That's if you did the 5-day challenge, you only have February available. So you would need to upgrade to the full thing if you want to unlock the other things. If you did pay for it, but for some reason it's not unlocked, then reach out to support@acadian.com. Okay. All right, so in order to keep your statistics high, that's why we have an exercise of the week. And this week, so on our live stream, well, actually the exercise of the week, but also on the live stream, because that's what we're doing. We're going over the exercise of the week. We alternate whether they are the difficulty level of the exercise that we do. Okay, so this is the last Friday of the month, which means we're at our highest level of difficulty, which means we're at level 2. Okay, so I know there's some people who are new on the call. Maybe you're new to QBO. Maybe you're still working on your level 1 certification, or like you don't know anything. Don't freak out, because we're going to go deep on this. And I don't want you to freak out or tune out, because it's a little more challenging. Okay. The thing is, what I have always believed is that, if the whole wave washes over you, like, you're not going to get the whole wave. But you're still going to get wet, right? You're still going to get something. You're still going to get a little bit. And even if you don't understand it now, what's kind of cool is that later, when you do understand it, you'll be like, oh, I remember when I didn't understand that. Okay, so if you're brand new, you're at level 1, just don't worry about it. Okay, just sit back, just relax. You can follow along if you want, or don't follow along and just listen. That's great. All right, so Tara, Joel is going to post it in the chat in just a moment. Actually, Joel, if you could post it right now, because we're going to get started. So if you are a paid member of the gym, and you have, if you're a paid member of the gym and you have the QBO and you have the exercise of the week unlocked, then make sure that you use the link that is inside, that's inside here. Okay. If it is, Joel, that's not the link that we want. We want that link to the exercise. Oh, somebody was asking a different question. Okay. So yeah, Joel, if you could post the link to the exercise. The link to the exercise that is in the chat is the link only for people that don't have a paid subscription, or don't have the exercise of the week unlocked. Okay. If you are a paid member, you have to use the link that's in here, do the exercise, and then come back here and mark that it's done. That's how you get your Booksmatch credit. Okay. So the link in the chat, only for the people that need it. If you want to use the one that's in here. All right. So we're going to go through this exercise of the week. However, I have a tendency, because I'm a teacher, like I can't help myself. We're going to go deeper than what's in the exercise. The exercise is fairly simple, but we're going to go deeper because, number one, I'm a teacher, And number two, like, you need to know this stuff. You need to know this stuff. All right. So let's talk about customer deposits. I'll click it so we can read it together. Okay. So here is our scenario. I don't know what happened to this graphic, guys. Like, Scribe just picked that up. I don't know why. But anyway, so we're talking about customer deposits. And here's our scenario. Craig will be completing a big project for Wedding Planning by Whitney. He will be helping with the landscaping for a new wedding venue. Since the project will be costly, Craig is collecting a deposit from Whitney before getting started for 25% of the total cost. Okay? So, if a customer pays in advance, there are a couple of different ways. Well, there's three ways you can record that. One is the deposit method, which we're going to talk about today. This is the easiest, simplest way to do it, and it's how you should do it if your customer like doesn't take deposits very often. Like, if this is an unusual event, then you could use this method. Okay. The second method is the accounts receivable method. There we have an exercise for that in level 2. This exercise actually comes from the level 2 certification. So there's the receipt. I said accounts receivable. It's the receive payment method. It's how you receive payment before there's actually an invoice. That's another method. And then the third method, which is the one that is actually GAAP approved, which is the one GAAP, for those of you who are new, which is the generally accepted accounting principles. It's called the unearned income method. And that's the one that you should primarily be doing. That's the one that if, for example, you are the person takes a retainer and then over time takes money out of the retainer, you want to use the unearned income method. Okay. Today we're going to go over this very simple deposit method, which you wouldn't want to use all of the time, but it's still an available option. And you have to know all three of those methods that I just described. You have to know them if you are taking the level 2 test, which, Joel, I forgot to give you the level 2 link. If people are trying to get the level 2 certification and you need help, you can do it for free. Intuit provides free training for you to get level 1 and level 2 certifications for your Pro Advisor certification. If you don't know anything about the certification, then I have a free ebook. We call it the Everything Doc, www.acadian.com/everything, which tells you all about the program, all about certifications, and all of that stuff. You can do it all for free inside your QBO account, QBOA account. But some people have a hard time with the Intuit materials, and so that's why they like to use our materials, which make it fun, fast, and easy. So anyway, if that's you, actually the link is here on the exercise, get the full course. Okay. So anyway, so that's all the level 2 stuff. So you have to know those three methods. We're just going to talk about the deposit method today. And in the email that I sent you, and also what I posted on Facebook, is what do you get when you cross an invoice? I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I'm so tiny. Like, why have I been talking this whole time and not actually doing anything on the screen? Okay. So what I said was on the post was, what do you get when you cross an invoice and a sales receipt? Okay. So a sales receipt, if you're new, a sales receipt is what you use to record payment at the time of the sale. So if somebody buys, a handkerchief from you and they give you money and you give them the handkerchief, okay, that's payment at the time of the sale. We use a sales receipt for that. If, however, somebody's going to pay you later, okay, so somebody calls and says, "Hey, can I buy 100 handkerchiefs?" And you say, "Sure, I'll send you an invoice." Okay, then they pay. You make them, they pay later. Like there's a delay. Okay, so when there's a delay, that's when you use an invoice transaction. The deposit, what I'm going to say, is kind of like a combination of those two things because I'm going to give you time to pay, but I'm taking some portion of the money right now. Okay. So that's why I said it's like when a sales receipt and an invoice have a baby, that's when, that's when you're going to use this deposit method. Okay. Okay. So I am going to share my screen again. Rain says, how do we get credit in Booksmatch for the Friday exercise of the week if we already paid for the QBO gym? So the exercise of the week is a separate course. So if you go on the left-hand side, well, I'm not in it anymore. Here we go. Okay, on the left-hand side here, or if you go back to Booksmatch and go to My Courses, you'll see the exercise of the week listed here. And that's how you get to the one that looks like this. Okay, so and if this is not unlocked, remember that you only get this after you have 250 points. So hopefully that's how that answers your question. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. So there's two steps that you have to do. The first step is you have to turn it on. You don't automatically have it turned on in QBO. So we have to turn it on. And then we will actually record the deposit. Okay. Now, all of our exercises are done in the sample company, and you have right here, you have instructions on how to get to the sample company. This is from inside your QBOA account. Okay. So these calls are for accountants and bookkeepers using QuickBooks Online accountant account. And if you're logged into your accountant account, this is how you do it. You go to the gear icon up the right-hand side, then you select sample company. It will log you out of, if you're currently logged into your account, it's going to log you out. And then you're going to say, okay, and then we're going to do the exercise. If, however, you're not logged into your account, we do have a quick little code. You can type acadian.com/QBOA, and Joel will put that in the chat too, and that will just pull up the accountant version of the sample company immediately. There are 3 sample companies available for us to use. It's all in that everything document that I mentioned. I talk about all 3 of those. And we use them for different reasons. Okay, so this is the sample company, and I'm going to go back to my exercise. Okay, so now it's led there. Okay, here are the project details that you'll need. Custom design work, 2 hours, 1 rock fountain, 1 fountain pump, 5 15 packs of lighting, 4 hours of installation, 2 hours of trimming. That's the exercise. We're going to adjust it a little bit for our purposes because that's a lot for what I want to be talking about today. Okay. So the first thing, as I mentioned, you have to enable deposits. You have to do that by going to account and settings. Now, notice that on this one right here, this little tile, I have a button that says guide me. Okay. For our exercises, we use a software called Scribe, and Scribe has a Google Chrome plugin. If you install the Google Chrome plugin, so here in your extensions, you would go to, so you click this little button here, it goes to extensions, and you can go to the Chrome Web Store, and you can find this this plugin that says Scribe, AI documentation, SOPs, and screenshots. Okay, so this is the plugin. If you have this plugin installed, and you can see that it's got this little red icon there, then when you are in our exercises, you will see this Guide Me button on the first white tile. Okay. Let me make sure that that's the first. Well, this one's white. It doesn't. But this one doesn't have a instructions. All right. I don't know why. It's typically the first white one. I don't know why this one isn't, but anyway, so it says Guide Me. And when I click Guide Me and I have the sample company already open, I click this button and magic is going to happen. Oh, I have to click confirm. That's new. It used to just happen automatically. Magic happens, and I now have the exercise on the same screen as the sample company, so I don't have to flip back and forth. Joel will put in the chat the link to, if you need additional instructions on what I just described, like how to install the Google Chrome extension, Joel will put that in the chat. So if you could do that, please, Joel. Okay, so here we are. The first thing that we have to do is we have to turn this on in Accountant Settings. I'm going to go to the gear icon, and I'm going to click Accountant Settings. So here I am, step 3. One thing I don't like about Zoom is that I cannot see what it looks like to you. So I don't know, like what I used to be able to do is make things bigger. I could say, oh, that's so tiny for you. Let me make it bigger. And I can't now. So hopefully this is okay for you. Okay. So now we're going to click, so I'm on step 4, click sales on the left-hand side. And then if you are new to QBO, notice that as I move my cursor, there's these different sections, okay? And what you have to do is you have to click it to make it editable. And so you could click this pencil, but you don't really need to. Just click anywhere. And we're going to do this section that says sales form content. We're going to click it to make it editable. And then you'll notice that there is an item here that says deposit. Okay, so we're going to turn that on and then click save and then click done. Okay, so now we have enabled deposits. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to record a customer deposit. Now to do this, remember I said this is going to be a hybrid of sales receipt and invoice. So I'm actually going to create the full invoice, and then I'm just going to take the deposit against that invoice. So we're going to click plus new and then invoice. I'm in step 10. In the customer field, we're going to type wedding planning by Whitney. Okay, so that's 11. And then here's where I'm gonna vary from the exercise. Okay, because we're gonna go deeper today. We're gonna go deeper than this exercise. We're gonna go underneath the covers. Okay, so what I want to do first is we're just gonna put in the design. Okay, so the first one, it says design. Going to say custom design, and we have here quantity 2. Okay, so now we have $150. And right here, you'll notice that it says deposit. Okay. Let's first, before we put in the deposit, we're going to click the black save button. And we're going to take a look at the journal underneath this invoice. Now, in order to do that, we're going to have a conversation about debits and credits. Okay. This have shared this with you before. And I shared it with you a while back, and I said, guys, from now on, we are always going to talk about debits and credits. Here's why. All right, let me stop the share so you can see me, okay? Because I need to look at you. So I mentioned that that we designed Booksmatch. To show you off to the world, right? So we were like, look at all these people doing all these amazing things and learning all these amazing skills. Don't all these people want to hire them, right? And so we actually hired a full-time employee whose job it is to call accounting firms and tell them about you. Okay. And so he started making these phone calls because we were wanting to show off the QBO gym. Like, don't you have employees that want, that need, that need the QBO gym? Don't you want your, don't you want your employees to do this? Don't you want to hire people who have already gone through this? Wouldn't this be amazing? And they all said, like, we were overwhelmed by the number of times that people said, knowing QBO is great, but what we really want them to know is accounting. Like, do they know bookkeeping? Do they know debits and credits? And we're like, actually, no. Like, we're just teaching them QBO. We're just teaching them this other thing. And so they begged us. They begged us to teach actual bookkeeping and accounting. And so that's why we developed our newest course, which is called the Bookkeeping Accelerator. And one of the key things about the Bookkeeping Accelerator is designed to take somebody who knows nothing about bookkeeping and take them all the way up to being an advanced level bookkeeper in a very short, compressed amount of time. Okay, we like to do things quickly and easily around here. That's like our hallmark. And to do it like hands-on. Like, we're tired of theoretical knowledge. Like, we're tired of just YouTube videos and just clicking buttons, like, or just answering quiz questions. We want you to actually do it. Okay. So in the accelerator, not only do we teach you debits and credits, there are so many exercises. So I see Tara says she's in the accelerator. Karen says she joined but hasn't started. Christine says she wishes she could afford it. Well, you're in luck, Christine, because I'm going to teach exactly what I teach in the accelerator right now, and we're going to apply it to the exercise that we're doing. All right. So, let's, so I'm going to share my screen again. And let's see if I can make this happen. All right. So this comes straight from the accelerator. I'm going to teach you debits and credits. Okay. So we're going to understand how debits and credits work. And then we're going to see how it applies to this situation with Whitney. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hit this. I think you guys are going to, oh, wait, can't see anything. Hold on. Hold up a minute. Okay. All right, here we go. So, we start with the lesson called double entry accounting. Okay. In double entry accounting, whenever you record something, you must record an equal amount on the other side. The entries must balance. So I like to think of it as a seesaw, okay? On one side you have debit, and on the other side you have credit, okay? So if you add something on the debit side, then you naturally have to add something on the credit side, okay? Now, every account in the chart of accounts naturally lives on one side or the other. And this is referred to as the natural balance, okay? This is where those accounts start, and you have to memorize it. There's no way to get around the fact that you have to memorize which ones live on the left side and which ones live on the right side. The thing is, once you memorize it, it will come easier. But like I'm a musician, and you have to memorize key signatures. Like there's just no way about it. You just have to memorize key signatures. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. So, so anyway, so yes, you have to go. So I'm going to teach you how to memorize it. So we're going to start by teaching you how to memorize it. Then we're going to put it in like actual application to see how it works when money moves around. Okay. So the way to memorize it is that on the right-hand side, we have to keep track of where money comes from. On the left side, we think those accounts are where money goes. So we have where money comes from and where money goes. In other words, it's the destination. So on the right-hand side, we have credit, and on the left-hand side, we have debit. Okay? So where does money come from? Well, oh, why is that twice? Didn't I already do this? I don't know why that's happening. All right. So where does money come from? Well, one place that money comes from is income, right? Income, the money that your customers pay you, right? That's income. Another word for that is revenue, okay? So that's going to be an R. A second place money comes from is it comes from the owners. Owners contribute money to the business in order to like get it running, okay? That is called, when an owner does that, that's called equity. So that's going to be our E. And then the third place that money comes from is outside organizations. So if you have a loan, if you have a credit card, the things that you have to pay back, those are called liabilities. So on the right-hand side, we have LER. So if those are the places money comes from, where does the money go? Once you get the money, where does it go? Well, it's going to go one of three places, okay? The first place that it's going to go is it's going to go to assets. So it's going to be the things that you hold, that the business holds on to. That could be a bank account. So the money's going to go into a bank account and going to sit there. It could be a piece of equipment. So assets are the things that the business holds on to. That's the A. Then another place money could go is expenses, right? There's all sorts of expenses in a business, okay? So that's another place, is the E. And then finally, where does the money go to? Well, it goes back to the owners. It goes back to the owners. That's why owners own a business, so that money can come back to them. When money goes back to the owners, that's called a distribution or a dividend, depending on like how it's structured. Okay, so that is a D. So that is how you can remember which is on which side. Okay, so once you know where it starts, now you have to think about when money moves, how does it move? Remember our seesaw here. Okay, so if we add a debit, like if we have something on one side, then we have to put it on the other side. So let's take a look at how we record this when money moves. As I mentioned, so now in this part of the lesson, we're going to talk about how money moves. So right now, what just happened? We created an invoice. We created an invoice for Whitney for $150. Okay. So in double entry accounting, as I said, whenever you record something on one side, you have to record an equal amount on the other side. Okay. So on the debit side, we have DEA, the distributions, expenses and assets. On the credit side, we have LEAR, so liabilities, equity, going back to the owners, and revenue, which is also income. When we use the term debit, okay, this is hugely confusing to people. Accountants came up with these terms and they don't mean like the same thing as what they normally mean to us in life, right? So, Tara, I'm glad that you're liking this explanation. It's about to blow your mind. It's about to get even better. Okay, so in the accounting world, when they use the term debit as a verb, it always means that it's moving to the left or it's on the left side, okay? When they use the term credit as a verb, it always means it's moving to the right or it's on the right side, okay? The hard part is when people use the terms increase and decrease, okay? So if I say I debit something, that means that it's going to be on the left-hand side. But if I say that something increases, what does that mean? If it's some accounts, it increases on the left and some accounts increase on the right, and everyone gets confused. So here's how to think about it, okay? I want you to remember back when you were a kid, I think we decided that this happens around 7th grade, when you learned how to chart numbers on a graph, okay? So you have a line going across, and then you have zero and you have a line up and down, and you have zero in the middle, okay? You remember probably you don't do this anymore, but back in the day, you used to chart numbers on graphs all the time, and you know this, right? You have a line going across, you have a line up and down, zero is in the middle. Now, when you're on the right-hand side, you're talking about positive numbers, okay? It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And when you increase a positive number, it's super easy. It moves to the right. And when you decrease a positive number, super easy, goes to the left. No problem when we're talking about positive numbers, right? Easy peasy. When it gets confusing is when we start talking about negative numbers. So negative numbers are on the left-hand side. You remember this. You remember this from middle school. Goes backwards. -1, -2, -3, right? Okay. It goes that direction. Okay. So if you increase a negative number, what direction is it going? If you increase a negative number, if it's more negative, it's going to the left. If it's less negative, okay, so if you have -10 and you decrease it so it's getting closer to 0, it's decreasing it to -5, where is that going? That's going to the right, okay? So negative numbers increase to the left and decrease to the right. The same is true if you're talking about debits and credits, okay? I don't know why all of these slides are duplicate, okay? All right, so now we're gonna go, now if you're in the accelerator, you get tons and tons of examples. Okay. So those of you like, you can hop in, you can do that. We're going to now hop back. We're going to go back to Whitney, our exercise with Whitney, and we're going to look at how this plays out in the Whitney transaction. Okay. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go back to our exercise. Okay. So what do we just do? We have an invoice from Whitney, or an invoice to Whitney, okay? And we are charging her $150 for custom design work, okay? So we're going to look at the journal entry underneath this. And what should we expect? Okay? Well, first, Whitney hasn't paid anything yet. Okay. So she hasn't paid anything yet. So it's not going to go in, in a bank account. It's going to go in a temporary account called accounts receivable. Accounts receivable, that's where we hold the money while we're waiting for the customer to pay it. Okay. This is all, I know this is advanced, guys. This is level 2. So this is level 2, and I hopped right into the middle of the accelerator. So just stick with me, okay? Accounts receivable is a temporary account. We hold on to it while we are waiting for the money, okay? But it's still an asset, okay? We still consider it in accrual accounting, we still consider it as money that we already have, okay? So we're going to see accounts receivable on the left-hand side, on the debit side, okay? And we're going to see this is where the money came from the customer, okay? So this is going to be the income we're going to see, and the income is the revenue, so it lives on the right-hand side, okay? So let's take a look. What if I'm wrong? What if I give this whole explanation and I'm wrong? Okay. So here is the transaction journal. I'm just going to close this so you can see it better, okay? So here's our transaction journal. There we go. So we can see accounts receivable is an asset. So it lives on the left-hand side. It increases on the left-hand side. There's now more money in the accounts receivable account. So it's on the left side. Okay. And then design income is, it's an income account. An income, that's revenue. So that lives on the right-hand side. There's more money in that account, so it's on the right-hand side. So that's why it's a credit, okay? Now, what about that dang deposit? This whole exercise is about a deposit, okay? Well, let's change this up. I'm going to click this. And I'm going to go and add money to the deposit. So we're going to say that she paid $50 up front. Okay. So she paid $50 up front. What just happened? Well, the balance due became 100. So the balance due is held in what account? Somebody tell me in the chat. The balance due is held in what account? Accounts receivable. Woohoo! You guys all got it. I knew you would. Okay. So what should we expect to see? We should expect to see the asset, or on the debit side, we should see accounts receivable $100. Now, what about this deposit? Well, when you add a number here in the deposit, QBO adds suddenly this new section right here. This is how it becomes the child of a sales receipt. This is how, when I said it's part sales receipt and it's part invoice. So now on a sales receipt, you always indicate where the money went to, okay? Because you got money. So we just got money from Whitney. We got $50 from Whitney. Now I have to say where that money is going. Okay. So we're going to say that she paid via ACH. Okay. So she paid and it went automatically into her checking account. ACH is not one of these listed here. So I'm just going to hit add new. I'm going to say ACH. Notice right here we have this option that says this is a credit card. That option is available. The reason they're asking that is, well, there's two reasons, but the one that's important now is that if you have QB payments, and every single person on this call should have QB payments. Sign up for QB payments, sign up for QB payments, sign up for QB payments, okay? QB payments allows you to accept credit cards and ACH payments directly into your QBO account. This is a merchant. It makes you a merchant, okay? So definitely the way you sign up for that, go to the gear icon, select payments. You can't do it in the sample company, but in your real account, go to gear icon, select payments, fill out the application. You're in business. You're in business. You should be accepting credit cards and ACH payments. Okay, so Craig, in the sample company, we can't, but we're going to say that the money came for, was, it went directly deposited from Whitney into, into Craig's checking account. Okay. So now we're going to hit save again. So what should we expect to see in, what should we expect to see in the journal? I forgot I was going to play around with these new tools. I think that I can. Oh, look at that. Okay. This is the advantage. See, I've been kicking and screaming trying to get into, trying to get me into uh, Zoom, but I have a cool thing here. So I should be able to, I thought I could draw a square, but here we go. All right, so now we have the balance due. Look at that, I can draw right on it. And we already decided that's gonna be in AR, okay? This hasn't changed. This is the same. So this is, I didn't need to do that part, but this is now gonna be, this is the income account, right? So now this amount, this $50, look at that, is checking. So now we should see $50 in checking, and that's going to balance it out. So how do I erase all that? Clear all drawings. Woohoo! All right, so let's take a look at the transaction journal. Oh, I still have annotation turned on. Clear all drawings. Turn off annotation. There we go. And I'm going to go to the transaction journal. Karen, I'm glad that you're here with us live today too. All right, I'm going to close. And here we see exactly what I just described. Accounts receivable is now $100. Checking account is now $50. $150 on the credit side for the design income. That's the revenue, and they balance. Okay. Well, let's take it one step further. I'm going to go back to my invoice. Okay. So let's say instead of ACH, she paid with a check. So she paid with a check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now It's not going to go directly to checking unless you do a mobile deposit, like the moment you receive it, which most people do not do. It's going to go to undeposited funds. So somebody, oh, Tara's asking, so you select checking instead of undeposited funds. This is where the money is going to, okay? So if it's ACH, it's going to go directly to checking. That's what ACH is, okay? But if it's going to go to some intermediate place, if you receive cash or checks, then you typically hold on to them. You put them in an envelope or a drawer, and then you take them to the bank all in like one big stack. That's the purpose of undeposited funds. Undeposited funds says, here's all your groups of deposits, okay? Or groups of checks to deposit. So instead of it going directly to checking, it's going to go to undeposited funds. So this one's going to be pretty simple because we just changed the one thing. So I'm going to hit save. I'm going to hit transaction journal again. Okay. So the only thing that changed this time is this was previously checking. Now it says undeposited funds. That's the only thing that changed. All right, let's take this up a notch. We'll take it up one more notch, and then that'll be it for this exercise. Then we'll go on to the other things. Let's see. Fernand is saying, are deposits in December, for example, reported as 1099 the year the deposits were received or the next year when the account was fully paid in February? So that depends on whether the client is cash-based or accrual. Well, yeah, you're going to record them, and whether it's deposited in the bank, no, I'm correcting myself. It's when you record the payment, not necessarily when you deposit the money in the bank. That's the answer. It's not, it doesn't, a cash and accrual doesn't affect when you actually deposit the money in the bank because you still have it. Like imagine that it's cash. Like you still have the cash, whether the cash is in your hand or whether the cash is in the bank, then you still have the cash. It doesn't matter. So scratch what I said. A cash and accrual doesn't matter about the actual deposit. It matters like when you receive the money. So accrual mean they count it as having been received, even if you don't yet have the money. So I don't want to go down that tangent. Let's see. So yeah, so initially Tara went down the same thinking as I did, but then I realized I was wrong. So yeah, see it happens. We all make mistakes. So yeah, so it does not, the actual depositing of it in the bank is not related to cash or accrual. The receiving it from the customer or not yet receiving it from the customer, that's the cash or accrual. That's where cash or accrual comes into play. Okay. If you guys are new, beginner, don't freak out. Don't freak out. It will all come eventually. Just let the wave wash over you. You're still going to get wet. Okay. You don't have to soak up every single thing. Okay. So we're going to make one other change. That's going to make this a little bit harder. Get out your pens and paper, those of you who are more advanced. And we're going to say, what happens if the thing that we're selling is an inventory product? Okay, so we've got an inventory product is a rock fountain. Okay, so we've got $275. And let's increase the deposit to $100. And we're going to save it. All right, so now This is when I'm going to share my whiteboard. We're going to see if we can figure this out before we look at what the transaction journal. Don't check the transaction journal. Don't cheat. We're going to try and figure this out together. And I want to share. How do I share a whiteboard? Do I have to, I can't stop it in the middle? Okay, I have to go here. New whiteboard. Welcome to new whiteboard. I don't know what this means. Use whiteboard classic. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. All right, so we have bum, bum, bum. Debits. And we have credits. Okay. All right. So we already know that we have 150. Oops. Where's my undo button? That's eraser. Is there, can I just, oh, here's undo. Okay. So we already know that we have, so I guess I could say undeposited funds. We could do undeposited funds first. Undeposited funds. That's an asset, right? It's an asset, so it's going to be on the left-hand side. How much is in undeposited funds?
100.
Yes. How did we get that voice? I didn't know you guys could talk. Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, so we've got $100 in undeposited funds because that came from the deposit. Now we have the balance due. If you turn the mic on, but I thought that I had turned off audio for everybody. Anyway, so now we have the balance due is also called what?
AR.
AR. Somebody else talking. I did not know that I did not know that I had it turned on where you guys could talk. Okay. All right. So we've so how much is in accounts receivable? $325. Good. 325. Okay. So now what's on the credit side? So we have to have our income. Isn't there a way? Oh yeah, there's a way I can type. Income. That's over here for $425. Yep. So $425. Yeah, I'm going to hit the T, see what happens when I do that. Okay. But something else happened when I added the inventory product. Who knows? This is a more advanced question, but something else happened. Right. So we have an inventory asset account. Oh, look at that. That's so much easier. Inventory asset account. What happened to the inventory asset account? Oh, yeah, we're not doing sales tax. Sales tax adds an even further level of complexity. Inventory, the value of the inventory asset account decreased. There's less money now in the inventory asset. I'm seeing a bunch of different ones. Okay, so the inventory asset account decreased. An inventory asset normally lives on the left-hand side. So what do? There we go. We're seeing it. I'm seeing a bunch of people say yes, it's credited. Okay. So the inventory asset account is credited. But how much is it credited? Oh, Brittany, woohoo! Original cost. Good job. It's credited the original cost. Okay, so we don't know yet. QBO knows how much that is, but we don't know. We'll have to look up. QBO knows. Oh, somebody looked up. No, 275. Okay, so Tara and Christine, the 275 is how much we're selling it for. That's not the same as the original cost of how much we bought it for. That's the number we don't know. We don't know how much that rock fountain cost us originally. QBO knows. We don't know yet. We have to look that up. Okay? But this is not balanced. Okay? Whatever this number is here, even if it's $1, now it's not matching over here. So we actually have to, can I copy this or do I have to type it again? Can I just put it over here? Good. We actually have to put the original cost. We have to balance this out. The original cost also has to be on the debit side. So how much? So what account? Oh, I typed asset wrong. What account are we going to debit? Bingo! Ooh, Lindsay. Rich, Arlene, right on. Yes, we are going to debit a COGS account. That is cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is an expense type account, and expenses live on the left-hand side, right? But now we have to find out what that original cost is going to be. Okay, so now let's switch over to the other. Yes, it's going to close the whiteboard for everybody. Yes. I want to go back to my screen and we're going to take a look at this. Tracy says, wait, hold on. Where's my share button? Okay, there we go. Why is it that when I share my screen, the chat always disappears? I have to put it back. Okay, so Tracy says, can you explain why we would credit the inventory asset if assets are on the left? Yes. I'm gonna show you the picture again, but let me finish with let me finish with this so we can see the transaction journal. Okay. So I'm gonna go to transaction journal. And boom. Okay, here we go. So we have we have $325 in the accounts receivable account, plus the $100 in the undeposited funds. That's the $425, which I could switch back and forth between the whiteboard. Okay, but these two are the $425 total that we saw before. The rock fountain and the custom design and the rock fountain. Oh, where's my annotate? My fancy. Okay. So these two equal the $425. These two are different income accounts, but they're still revenue accounts. So they're still on the right-hand side. Okay. So that equals $425. That matches with this and this. Okay, that's what we just looked at. And then here's the two that are related to the inventory product that we just talked about. Okay. All right, good job. Now let me go, if I can figure out my technology here. Wait, I have to turn off annotation. Then I have to click this. Okay. And then I have to go back to, where is it? Oh, I have to go back to, where is, okay, here we go. All right, this, I think this slide will do it. Except I'm not sharing my screen, so you cannot see it. Share screen, this guy, and share. And open up my chat again because it keeps disappearing. Okay, so Tara asked, can you explain why we would credit inventory asset if assets are on the left? Yes. So here's the asset. Ooh, I can use my annotation on this too. Woohoo. Okay. So assets live on the left here, the asset, but it's on this negative side. There is less, how do I, maybe I can't, maybe I have to turn this off. Why isn't that working? There we go. Okay, so it lives on the left, but now when you sold something from inventory, you have less inventory. Okay, so it lives on the left, but it decreased. The inventory asset you have, because you sold it, that thing is no longer in inventory. There's less inventory. It decreased. And because it normally lives on the left, when it decreases, it moves to the right. Did that help? Hopefully that will take care of that. Okay, excellent. All right, so let me close that and and that's the end of the exercise. So now, so if you want to, like we didn't actually, because I like changed it up. So if you want to do the actual exercise, which doesn't go into debits and credits and all of that, you can, like there's it in the actual exercise, you add all of these, you add all of the products and you know, record the deposit. We show you how to this fun trick where you can actually do math inside the deposit and all of that stuff. Okay, but let's move on because I want to talk about marketing for a minute because this is so like, all right. So we every every exercise of the week comes with a matching marketing prompt. Now, when you are working in the gym, when you have a gym subscription, you actually earn marketing prompts as you go along, okay? The reason that we put this in the gym is because I just kept hearing from so many people saying, I know that I need to post on social media, but I don't know what to say. And I just kept thinking, how do you not know what to say when I just realized that I am losing Joel at 12:30. Lindsay, do you still have access to the live stream planner? Because if so, I'm going to need you, if you could pull that up, and I'm going to need you to post a couple of links. 'Cause I forgot, we have a little family emergency happening and Joel has to leave. Okay. So I kept hearing that people like they're saying, I know I'm supposed to post on social media, but I don't know what to say. And I was like, how do you not know what to say? Like you're learning something every day. Like post what you're learning. Just talk about what you're learning about. So I decided to add them to the gym. And the so the in the gym, in the actual gym, you earn marketing prompts. But in the exercise of the week, which is this one, I'm going to close out the exercise. We actually give it to you for every exercise. Okay. So here is, if you are wanting to post on social media and raise your flag. Did you guys hear me say, I can't remember when I said it. So my business coach recently said, he recently said, um, if they don't know you, they can't pay you. Okay. Which was so mind blowing. Like, for everybody in business, everybody in business, including you, including me, if people do not know you, they cannot pay you. Okay. So you have to constantly be just waving your flag and reminding people that you're around. My coach says, attention is the new oil. And what he means by that is, like, that's the most valuable commodity, is attention. So, so you just have to, on social media, you just have to constantly remind people that you're a bookkeeper, or constantly remind people that you are a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, which is how recommend. I recommend that you position yourself as a QBO Pro Advisor. I think that's a better phrase than just saying I'm a bookkeeper. Because if you're a pro advisor, then people I feel like, are more likely to reach out to you when they have questions than if you're just a bookkeeper. Then they're only going to reach out to you if they need a bookkeeper. Tara's saying, how many social media sites are you on? So me personally, I use LinkedIn for business. I use Facebook for personal, although Facebook groups for business. But my Facebook page, I know a lot of you guys, sometimes you send me friend requests. I really keep my Facebook people to, like, the people I know in real life. Okay. The people that I actually am friends and family with. And as you heard me say at the beginning of the call, I am now on Instagram. So I'm learning that. But Instagram, Facebook, and well, and if I don't know if you consider YouTube social media, I don't really, but anyway. So yeah. So you posting on social media. So here is and we like to say QBO quick tips so that people know that that's what you're talking about. And here is the one for today. And so, Lindsay, if you found the document, if you could post the marketing prompt in the chat, because if you're not paying for the gym, then you won't have access to this. So Lindsay hopefully will post that in the chat for us. Normally Joel would do that, but he had to leave. Okay. So here is the QBO quick tip. It simply says, taking deposits from customers, recording them correctly in QBO is key to keeping your books clean and avoiding revenue mix-ups. Done wrong, you could end up with inaccurate reports or a reconciliation mess. Want to make sure it's set up right? Just say the word. Okay? Oh, good. Thank you, Lindsay. All right. So this is the QBO quick tip. Now, I personally wrote all of the QBO quick tips throughout the gym and with exercise of the week because they come to me easily. Like, I'm just like boom, 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 boom. But a few weeks ago, I said, excellent, Tara, use that. Yeah. Tara says, one thing I loved learning about today was more on the invoice to see the transaction journal. That's more of a bookkeeper geeky thing and less of a customer facing thing, I think. But if you like, post whatever you're learning, like the point is purely 100% for people to just know who you are and that this is what you do. You could say, hey, I geeked out today and learned all about the transaction journal in QBO. Woohoo, go me. Like, that's all it is. Like, that's all it is just waving your flag, telling people who you are, what you do. Okay. All right. So what I started to say though is I wrote all of them. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was tired. And I said, you know what? I wonder if ChatGPT could write this for me. And we talked, I think it was 2 weeks ago on the call. We talked, I showed you my conversation with ChatGPT about how to get the QBO quick tip just right. Because at first, and 2 weeks ago, you can go back and find the recording. 2 weeks ago, we I showed you my conversation with ChatGPT and like we talked about like, well, what's wrong with this marketing prompt and why is this not a good one and how I told ChatGPT to rewrite it, okay? So then last week I said, I wonder what would happen if I tried it again. And so now ChatGPT has learned how to write marketing prompts for me. Guess what I did this morning, guys? I did it again. This came directly from ChatGPT. So, Lindsay, if you will post the recordings. Okay, let me finish. Lindsay, if you would post the ChatGPT link. Okay, here's the link to the ChatGPT prompt. And you can go and you can like once you click that link, it'll make it your own ChatGPT. Like this is so you can use it, you can see like it learns as long as you're using the same conversation thread, it learns what you're doing. So all I had to do was I posted it this morning. It was like, how about this one? And it gave me one. Okay. So the other thing that I wanted to mention though is, and here I'm still screen sharing. I'm so tiny. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to mention though, I was thinking about niche training. So last week, and what we're going to do once a month is we're going to focus on niche training. And so last week we talked about Shopify. And so go back and watch that recording if you want to learn all about, not all about, because we can't, it's like too big of a topic, but if you want to get a taste for, um, uh, if you want to get a taste for Shopify and how to do bookkeeping for Shopify, watch the recording from last week. You can watch it. Tara's asking, you can watch it on YouTube or you can watch it in the Facebook group, either one. The ones that are on YouTube are delayed because I have to send them to the editor. The ones that are in the Facebook group are just raw. So if I blow my nose, then, you see me blow my nose. But the ones that are on YouTube are cleaned up a little bit. So yeah, so either is fine. Somebody said the recording from 2 weeks ago doesn't work. So Ellen, um, let us send that to support and we'll take a look. I know at one point we accidentally deleted it, but then we found that out and we reinstated it. But also the one from 2 weeks ago is on YouTube. So yeah, so it's there. And our YouTube, you can just go to acadian.com/YouTube, capital Y, capital T, and that will take you to our YouTube channel. So anyway, so here, like, this is where I want to go, and I don't have much time left, but so I was working with ChatGPT. I said this morning, but it might have been last night. I don't remember. And I was thinking to myself, because today's exercise was about Whitney, Weddings by Whitney. And I thought, wow, that would be a really fun niche. Like, what if wouldn't it be fun to be a bookkeeper just for wedding planners? Like, and I just started thinking about these like niches. And I thought, one of the things I want to tell you guys is that if you are going to go down a niche, okay, you need to learn everything about that niche. And I don't mean just the bookkeeping. I mean about like the niche in general. Like, like if you are obsessed with wedding planning, post about wedding planning, not just about bookkeeping for wedding planning, right? Like, because you want to attract the people who are also in that same space. If you want to be a bookkeeper for plumbers, learn about plumbing. Oh, hey, I just discovered like there's this new material for patching, like whatever. Like, like you need to like go down this, you need to like become familiar with like that, whatever that niche is that you're interested in. So, anyway, so I just like my brain, I was just thinking about Whitney, right? And when I was like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to be just a bookkeeper only for wedding planners? Like that's your niche. And I thought to myself, if I were doing that, like I wonder what I would post about. If there's anything in, I wonder if there's anything in QBO or anything about wedding planning specifically that I would need to know. And so guess what I did? I used ChatGPT. And Lindsay, if you could post the other link, the second link that's in there, tips for wedding planners. And this is awesome. This is so awesome. I'm going to share my screen. You guys have the link too, but okay. Look at this. Like this cracked me up because, okay, look at this. So my prompt was, what are 10 tips that wedding planners might need to know about QBO? Okay. So the first one was set up a chart of accounts for weddings. Customize your chart of accounts to categorize wedding related expenses and income. Examples include, and then it gave all these et ceteras. And I thought, I almost went down this rabbit hole too, but I changed my mind. It's like, you could say, you know, can you give me more specifics of the income categories, right? Don't say the et cetera. Like you can ask ChatGPT to explode this for you, like, oh, can you give me more examples of income categories or more examples of expense categories? Um, some of this should be cost of goods sold. If you guys are in the accelerator, and you have, like, we talk in so much detail about the difference between general operating expenses and COGS, cost of goods sold. Okay, so some of these should be cost of goods sold, but then look at this one. This cracked me up. And second one, guys, the second one was track clients' deposits properly. It says client retainers and deposits should be recorded as liabilities, not income, until the services are rendered. Use undeposited funds this is not correct, undeposited funds, but use deferred income accounts to track payments. Remember I said at the very beginning of the call, there are 3 ways to track customer deposits. Okay, the deposit method that we learned, which you should only use occasionally, the receive payments method, which you also should use, and number 3 is the unearned income. That's what we're talking, deferred income, unearned income. Okay, so like, anyway, so I just thought, you guys have got to embrace and not be scared of ChatGPT and AI. I know there's a lot of people who are worried that it's going to take over our jobs, especially because it tends to take over like the tedious stuff, and a lot of what bookkeepers do is tedious. But here's the thing, and this is great. It says it perfectly. ChatGPT can be a great tool, but be sure to verify the information. It's been known to completely make things up. Yes, that's called hallucinating. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You have to know your stuff in order to be able to catch when the AI does it wrong. When the AI like undeposited funds, not applicable to the thing. But I know that because I know how undeposited funds work. And undeposited funds is not a solution for the thing. How do I know that? Well, because I studied it because I know the fundamentals. That's why the accelerator is so important because you know the fundamentals. And once you know the fundamentals, you can apply that to things like ChatGPT and you can catch the errors. You can catch when it's wrong. You can have real conversations about it. Okay. All right. And let's see. Sandy, Tara says, yes, I've been worried about AI taking over. AI is taking over. It is. Um, I told you that I was listening to the podcast, the most recent podcast episode, and with Alicia and Spot, and they the guy who is the CEO of Intuit, can't remember his name, but he said, and they said this on the podcast, that the evolution of AI is as fundamental as the invention of electricity and the internet. Like think how much electricity has transformed our lives and the internet has transformed our lives. The AI is going to be just as essential. And so there's no point in resisting it. What you have to do is embrace it. You have to learn how to use it. And the only way that you are going to be able to prepare yourself is to know the concepts, to know the actual stuff um, underneath, to know those accounting principles. That's what the accelerator is for. Okay. Um, so yes. Oh, and Karen said, I want to mention this too. Karen said, I believe our personal touch is still key in what we do. Yes, that's so true. In fact, my husband and I were just talking about this at dinner last night too, that the next evolution, like the next thing, I think the next high value thing is going to be that personal human touch. Is yes, AI is going to take over so many things, but people are going to want that they crave, like they're going to crave human, that human interaction, that human touch. Okay. All right. So, is ChatGPT saving the prompt and answers for everyone in your own ChatGPT account? Yes, it's for you. It's for you unless you make it public. So for the one I did, I shared the conversation. So if you use it, the one I shared with you and log in, it's now going to save it in your own account. It's not going to save anything you type. It's not going to save in my version of it. But then you can also share it if you want to share it to the world and make it useful to other people. Some people do that, but I don't really want to. So, okay. All right. Last thing before we head, speaking of humans, um, our courses, all of our courses, the accelerator, the gym, the certification courses are all they're all self-study. They're all self-study, which can be lonely sometimes. And so if you want help, if you want to gather with other people, we have two opportunities for you to do that. The first is our Getting Clients cohort. So if you want to learn more about how to use those prompts in your marketing, how to wave your flag and tell people that how to what am I trying to say? To tell people that you're in business, to actually reach out to like human to human people. We brainstorm on that if you want to learn how to use Canva, if you want to do all of that stuff. And most importantly, if you want to gather together with people who have a shared goal, like that's the magic, guys. That is the magic, is being able to work with other people who are all working together and getting over your head. Like I told you, I'm now posting on Instagram 3 times a day. My backdoor raw life. So, um, so you don't have to do that. I mean, you don't have to do that, but you do have to get over yourself and get out there. If they don't know you, they cannot pay you. And so if you want an encouraging environment to help you get over your stuff, help you learn technology, whatever, and actually get out there and start getting clients, then you can join the Getting Client cohort. We actually guarantee that you will land a client conversation at the end of the month, or we'll give you your money back. And if you're in the gym, you earn coupons for the Getting Clients cohort. If you're in the cleanup course, you get $100 off automatically. Um, and let's see. So, oh yeah, good question. Canva is we use it to create like a logo. You can create a logo for yourself and then create like a QBO quick tip format so that you can post it on LinkedIn. Uh, Oh, anyway, people are having a conversation about Canva. And then the other thing is the study hall. So the Getting Clients cohort is a group of people working together specifically to get clients, but not everybody is there yet. So if you just need help, if you just want to gather with other people, if you want to be held accountable, if you want to gather with other people to help you work through your courses, work on your marketing, or you just want to gather with people while you're working on client work, then you can join the Acadian Study Hall. And Lindsay, I don't have that one in the spreadsheet, but Lindsay could post the link to that too. Uyi says, I used to think I was great at working by myself until Margie offered the cohort, and then I realized I needed a community. Patina says, so true. Same, and Tracy says, same here. So, anyway, all right, that's it. I have 7 minutes. If anybody has any other questions, I have to go and record. Speaking of the podcast, I should probably go and prepare for that. Alicia and I have a shared document. Every time that we find something new in QBO, we like screenshot it and add it to the document, and she always organizes it before we get on the call, so I should probably take a look. Do you teach an accelerator chart of accounts numbering? Yes, we do. Do you want it, Lindsay? Maybe you could put the link to the accelerator one more time so people see. Um, uh, Uyi says the reports have the arrows now to select standard and customize reports. Yes, they do. I meant to show you guys that today too. This has been a thing that has bugged me forever. On the left navigation bar, like everything that when you put your cursor on something, that it pops out and it has the sub menus for everything. And it's always been that except for reports. Why? Why did they not have that for reports all along? Well, now they do. They just changed it, which means we have like 10,000 screenshots in our exercises that we need to change. But uh Uy says, it just appeared. I listened to Look What I Found with You, Alicia. I began to look too. um, Tracy says, can you mention again what the preferred method is to use deposit, receive payments, or unearned income? The answer is unearned income. And if you're studying for the level 2 test, I'm looking at you. If you're studying for the level 2 test. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully we've got the QBO gym link. Okay. Charlotte says, wow, I don't know what that was for, but Okay. Woohoo, I'm with you. Wow. Things are awesome. Things are awesome. All right, I'm going to let you go. I have to get on this podcast, and follow me on Instagram and tell your friends and family about the locker room, because this is where it happens. And all the different platforms for the cohort can be, oh yeah, I can be using the free version. Yeah, for the Getting Clients cohort, we are only using free tools. So great. Okay. All right. And thanks for remembering about my family. I only mentioned that briefly. So yeah, we've got some stress happening today. All righty, guys. I love you. Have a great weekend. Follow me on Instagram if you want to watch me over the weekend. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a great one. I can't wait to hear your success story.